If you want talk, games, and fun all rolled into one, well, you've come to the right place. This is The Game Show, where host Bradley Clarke and his special guests talk about the world of television game and competition shows. But Bradley's guests aren't here to just talk. They came to play a game as well. What will today's topic be? What game does Bradley have planned? There's only one way to find out.
It's time to start the show.
You heard the man. Welcome to The Game Show. And here's your host, the Bradster himself, Bradley Clarke.
You guessed it, it's time to start the show yet again. Thank you so much, Austin Angelo. I'm Bradley Clarke, and welcome to The Game Show, the talk show all about the world of television game and competition shows. And this is a very exciting episode because I have not one, not two, but three guests on the show today. The reason being, this episode is all about recapping the 30th season of The Amazing Race.
This is a race like no other in history. This is The Amazing Race.
It certainly was an interesting season all around, with Team Big Brother Cody and Jessica taking the milestone season win.
Can we do it? 9 countries, 21 cities, more than 29,000 miles. Cody and Jessica, I'm pleased to tell you, you have won the amazing race and you have won the $1 million. Congratulations.
Jody winning is certainly going to be part of the conversation over the course of the episode, but there are plenty of other Season 30 elements to talk about as well, which is why this episode will be divided into 2 halves, each having former Amazing Racers and former guests of the game show as my talking cohorts. So without further ado, first up, he's one half of the second place team from Amazing Race 27, and on episode 11 of the game show, he was one half of the team that came oh so close to winning the fast-paced race. Please welcome one half of the green team and host of the Racers Recap YouTube channel, Justin Scheman. Justin, how's it going?
Hey, what do you mean almost won? Who beat me?
No one beat you. You just didn't get the last question correct, remember? That's why you didn't win.
Oh, I thought you meant that somebody scored higher than we did.
No, you did better than the Guidos.
All right, cool. As long as we did that.
Well, welcome back onto the game show. I'm so happy to have you again, and I've been saving all of my energy waiting to talk to you because we got a lot to talk about.
Oh, do we, boy? We do.
So I want to get right into it. So every time a season ends, I always love to rank a season based on previous seasons and not necessarily give it an exact number, but just put it into a tier, whether it was one of the top seasons, the middle seasons, or the bottom seasons. So being a super fan yourself and having seen every season, where does season 30 of The Amazing Race rank for you in the top, middle, or bottom tier of seasons?
I would say it's probably somewhere in the middle tier. It had some good teams. It had some great locations, which I really enjoyed. There were some really, really cool tasks. I loved the idea of the head-to-head. It was just executed really, really poorly. So I'm going to put it somewhere in the middle 10, I would say, somewhere around 15, 16-ish.
Yeah, I think putting season 30 in the middle tier of seasons is fair. I think what saved it from getting into the bottom tier of seasons are some of the nostalgia elements that were weaved in this season, and the opportunity I had to go see the starting line in New York City, so that gave season 30 some bonus points. But I think middle of the pack, 15 or 16, as you said, is the highest I would rank the season, and we're going to talk more about the head-to-head in just a bit. But I have to ask, this season was labeled as the most competitive season in Amazing Race history, featuring the most competitive group of teams to ever run the race. So for you, did the hype of the most competitive season of The Amazing Race live up to its expectations?
I would say not even close.
I agree.
No, I don't think it was the most competitive season. I mean, only 5 teams won a leg. You can go back and there's been seasons where 9 different teams have won a leg. And I think that would be much more competitive when everybody's up in the top trying to fight and have a chance at winning. Whereas here you could clearly see there was like 4 or 5 dominant teams and the others just weren't ever going to have a chance.
Yeah, I agree. I think the idea of putting a lot of strong competitors on a race was fantastic. I just don't think that the hype lived up to the action.
Right, and they were just really trying to push that. Oh, the most competitive season ever. No, it wasn't. Not even close.
And I don't think this season's challenges added to the most competitive season theme either.
Yeah, I don't think they were like the most competitive challenges either. The head-to-heads could have been so much great. The lack of roadblocks. There's just a lot of things on this season that I didn't enjoy, and I just think if they executed it properly, it could have been one of the best seasons.
Absolutely, I agree. So let's get into the specifics, because I always love talking about this. Oh, by the way, remember last time on the show, I talked about my sign that I held up at the starting line. Remember to read your clue or Phil might eliminate you. They didn't use it as a flashback. I was very disappointed.
Idiots.
I know.
They should have used it.
I'll tell you, if my sign was put on television, this season would have automatically been in my top 10 seasons of all time. You know what I need to do? I need to get in contact with the CBS Amazing Race editors and tell them how they should have edited this season, and especially edited episode 1.
Yeah, you and me both.
So let's get into talking about the 2 new elements featured on the Amazing Race this season, the head-to-head and the partner swap. And let's start with the head-to-head. So last time you were on the game show, both of us agreed that we loved the idea of putting the head-to-head on the American version of the show, but I thought it was going to be constructed like the Amazing Race Canada uses the face-off, in which the head-to-head challenge is sometime during the middle of the leg, and the team to not complete the head-to-head because there's no more teams left for them to battle would receive a small time penalty before continuing on with the leg. However, that's not how it was used on this version. Instead, the head-to-head challenge was featured right before the pit stop, and the pit stop was actually located right next to the challenge, which I did not like, and I thought that the leg was poorly constructed because the head-to-head was featured literally right next to the pit stop.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and I think that they would have just followed the Canadian version, even if you just did it exactly like they did. I don't even care if you repeated the task that they did. It was really cool. One of them was like a kayak soccer game where you were in a kayak and you had to play like water polo. That's cool. It's fun. That's competitive. It's head-to-head. It gives teams a chance. And having the pit stop right there where people can see it, not even a chance to catch up after the head-to-head, I think it's just so bad. Give the teams that lose a chance to catch other teams. Make it hard to find. Make it something else afterwards. Give them a penalty. I don't know. And have it involved where both teammates can compete with both teammates instead of one against one.
Yeah, it felt like more of a head-to-head roadblock than anything.
Yeah, it just felt like a roadblock, period. It didn't really feel head-to-heady too much. I mean, obviously one team kept losing, so it's just like whoever played this team was going to win. Whoever played against this team was going to win. Like, didn't really seem as competitive for the most competitive season ever.
Yeah, and putting the head-to-head challenge right where the pit stop is makes for a less dramatic finish, I think, because one of my favorite elements of any Amazing Race episode is watching the teams run to the pit stop, man, and trying to make it there before the other teams. And some of the most exciting moments from Amazing Race history have been teams running to the pit stop, either trying to get first place or trying to avoid elimination. So for the head-to-head to be right next to the pit stop, you lost that dramatic finish that the Amazing Race is known for because teams were literally just walking to the pit stop.
Exactly, and I don't think you should ever be walking to a pit stop. So have it down the block, around the corner, hide it somewhere, put it someplace beautiful, but don't sit there and have Phil doing play-by-play and watching it.
Yeah, I love seeing Phil on camera describing the challenges, but describing the teams competing in a challenge was a bit unnecessary for me. And also, it didn't even feel that suspenseful with Phil being the challenge commentator. Having the usual suspenseful challenge music would have been much better, I think, because it would have had more of a battle feel, and especially for the last head-to-head matchup, for those two teams, that was their last chance to survive the leg. And I don't know, I just didn't feel the intensity of the situation.
I didn't feel that as well. I didn't feel the pressure. That's something that was missing. Everybody felt that there was something missing, and we should never feel that on The Amazing Race.
I absolutely agree. So the next extra element that they added this season was the partner swap. Now, we had no idea what this was going to entail when we first talked about it. We had different ideas. Like I said, it was going to be sort of like the intersection, how that worked.
Yep.
But it wasn't like that at all. So what did you think of the partner swap?
I thought it was pretty cool. I didn't think that was totally botched. I liked that they had to wait for their partner. I thought that was pretty cool. The tasks weren't that bad. They didn't execute that as great as it could have been, but I don't think it was as poorly done as the head-to-heads. Obviously, they kept saying all season that Team Extreme never finished out of the top 3, but according to those rules, they finished tied for 5th, right? And people didn't like that because it kind of took away from it, but I liked it. I think they should mess around with it and play with it a little more in the seasons to come.
I agree. I thought it was a nice little wrinkle. I didn't really like the execution either. Here's my thing with it. You knew right off the bat that this was going to be a non-elimination leg because they weren't going to eliminate anyone.
Right.
And also, you kind of figured this was going to be one of those keep racing situations because they weren't going to make two teams do a speed bump because that eliminates the effect of the speed bump.
Yeah, it was kind of predictable, but I mean, they always have keep on racing legs, at least 2 of them a season. So if you're going to have them, I think this is a cool way to have it, at least. I know what they were trying to do. They were trying to build some drama with it. And ultimately, you know, if Team Big Brother got matched up with Team Ocean Rescue, that would have been great television.
Were you surprised that the pairings didn't work together? Almost like do an intersection where just both teams ended up working together.
Yeah, I think it was silly that they didn't think like that. And I think if they were more super fan-like, they would have understood that that's the mindset that you want to do. Both of you go do the same task, help each other get through the tasks, and move on.
See, us super fans, we knew to think like that.
Absolutely. That's what separates us from everybody else.
Exactly. And I believe only 3 teams could choose either detour option, so I guess that was possibly a way for them to not be able to work together. But if you saw that there were 2 available ones, why aren't you 2 doing it together?
Right, and force one team to split up, and that team's going to be at a disadvantage.
Right. Did you like that the whole partner swap was basically at the same location? Because really, they didn't travel anywhere.
Yeah, that's not something I enjoyed as much. I wish they get a chance to get lost and a chance for people to sit there waiting. Where's my partner? Did they get lost? More drama and more separation. I think that would have been a little bit better, but I understand the logistics from a production standpoint.
Yeah, I would have loved to seen the new partnership drive somewhere or in the airport, them together had to buy airline tickets.
I like that. Maybe get to the next country, and when you get to the next country, you can swap partners back.
Yeah, the whole partner swap twist taking place at only one location and it lasting only one main challenge was a bit dull.
Yep, they definitely could have added some more spice to it.
And don't you think both the head-to-head and the partner swap were just 2 new ways for the producers to assure all the teams were clumped fairly close together to get the leg over as quickly as possible? And Justin, you know how I feel about clumping.
Yeah, clumping has definitely been a big problem in the past couple of seasons. Getting everybody together, restarting it, go and restart and go. Like, give the team that won a leg a chance to kind of get some momentum and build a streak.
Yeah.
Even in our season, it was tough to do, even though I guess we made it look a lot easier than it really was.
The one thing I did like, I thought was pretty funny, was when Phil was there and he said, Zimbabwe's waiting for you. Then he did almost like the starting line go. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, Phil is definitely getting a chance to show more of his personality in the past couple seasons, and I really enjoy that.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about the finale. Team Big Brother pulled it out. What did you think?
Disappointed. Obviously, I thought that Team Extreme would have been such great ambassadors for the Amazing Race as winners, not only as being like a super strong female team and the best female team to ever run the race, even not winning, but I just think that their passion for the race, their passion for each other, they ran with such great integrity and pride. And I think Jen's logical mind of looking at this task hurt her because she was too logical. To solve the puzzle, you actually had to use both left wings instead of using a left and a right wing. And in her head, that didn't make sense, so she never really tried it. Whereas somebody like Jessica, who's not a huge fan of the show, just kind of kept trying every little different thing, and that worked to her advantage in this. And I just don't think that they're great ambassadors for the Amazing Race. I think that they're just going to kind of forget about the race and move on with their lives. And I think that's a shame for anybody who wins the race.
Yeah, I didn't really get the super fan vibe from Cody and Jessica, and I don't know why they were cast on the season, but it seems like they were cast just so they could stir up some drama on the race, and not because they also have a love for the Amazing Race as they may do for Big Brother. But I want to ask you a question about another team that raced for $1 million alongside Team Big Brother on leg 12. So Henry of Team Yale had the correct answer during the final challenge and then changed it before checking to see if he was right, resulting in him and Evan's second place finish. So as a member of a second place finishing team on a previous season of The Amazing Race, what would you say to Henry and Evan after their second place finish?
I feel for him. I mean, he may have the mental fortitude to be able to get over it a lot quicker than I would, but he had it, put his hands in the air and held his head. All he had to do was just say check, and he won. But he didn't. He made a decision and switched it. And as nice and as passive as a guy he is and as strong of a personality as Evan is, I think that it's going to be something that kind of haunts him for a while. But again, they have a really strong mental fortitude being the Yale debate champions, and maybe they'll be able to get over it a lot better than I would. But if that's how me and Diana lost the race, that would have crushed me so much more than just not keeping the cab. When it's something like not just saying check when there's no reason in the world not to, Jess was saying it every 3 seconds, check, switching one, check, switching one, check. She didn't have a problem with it, and you're watching somebody do that, so why not do that with you? If you're not sure, just say check, and then switch the tail, say check again. There was literally no reason for him to not say the word check. I couldn't think of one reason. While he was thinking about it, just say check. Why think about it? Say check. That's it, and you win. Granted, all I had to do was say, keep the meter running, and we win. All he had to do was say check, and they win.
Well, the moral of the story for Henry is always say check. Now, Justin, as a superfan, you know that San Francisco has some amazing race history attached to it because that city is home to the closest ever finish line finish in Amazing Race history. It took place during Season 2, way back in the year 2002, and here's a clip of that exciting finish.
I can't, Will. I can't do it, Will. They just passed me.
Tara! Stand up, guys. Stand up here. 5 continents, 8 countries, 52,000 miles. Chris and Alex, you're the official winners of the Amazing Race. You guys have officially won the $1 million.
Chris and Alex literally won by a foot race, beating Tara and Will by seconds. So I've got to ask, were you hoping, being that this was the 30th season with the most competitive racers ever, so they say, that there would be a close foot race to the finish line? Because if you think about it, if 2 of the teams built the plane correctly at the same time, it would have been a foot race for $1 million on the USS Hornet, and that probably would have been the new closest finish in Amazing Race history at the finish line. So I'm sure as an Amazing Race superfan, Justin, you've got a couple reasons why you'd love to see that happen again.
1, for nostalgia. 2, when I saw Jess pushing the plane and she couldn't keep it straight, I was like, oh, this would be great if there's 2 teams banging planes against each other, running to the end and pushing and fighting. I think that would have been such a great ending, especially the way the season played out. If it was Team Yale and Team Big Brother literally pushing and fighting their way to the end, I think it would have been a really dramatic ending, and it would have been fit the way the season played out.
Who do you think would have won in a foot race, Big Brother or Yale?
I think Yale would win in a foot race, but I think Big Brother's tenacity, like she would have done a lot more elbowing and bumping and pushing him out of the way because he is a lot more passive. So I think she would have had the edge on that, but he would have had the edge on a little more strength and or speed.
I think Cody would have just picked Jessica up and ran with her.
Well, if Cody was involved, yeah, he would have just beasted it.
Yeah. So Justin, final thoughts on Amazing Race 30. What's your overall takeaway from this season?
Overall take from the season is we have got an amazing team in Team Extreme that is a lock for All-Stars. They won America's hearts. They proved that, strong women can be a force in the race. I love that we got a couple more cool alumni that are now part of the Amazing Race family. I love the start in New York City, the live starts. I love all that. But if the ending would have been a little different, I would feel a lot more better about the season.
So now we wait and hope for the Amazing Race Season 31.
Yeah, Season 31. We're hoping that it's an All-Star / Unfinished Business too.
I'm not opposed to that.
You don't mind an All-Stars? A lot of people don't like them.
See, here's the thing. I love an All-Star season as long as the cast is good.
Yeah, I think if they get the cast right, then nobody will complain.
I loved the first All-Star season back in Season 11, but Season 24, the second All-Star season, that got me really mad because a lot of them weren't even All-Stars. But overall, I love seeing teams from the past return to race again.
Okay. Yeah, if they can get the right teams to agree to be on the show, and I think that was the problem with the Unfinished Business and the second All-Stars was that teams that they originally wanted to be on the show couldn't do it for certain reasons, whether health or pregnant or not together anymore. So they kind of settled on some other teams. And, don't bring back the freaking Globetrotters or the damn Cowboys or Luke and Margie, people that have done the thing 3 times. Come on. As great as everybody says the Cowboys were, they were on 3 times. They won 7 legs. We were on once, won 7 legs. Stop it already.
Drop the mic. Well, Justin, I can't let you leave without playing a game. Would you like to try your hands at another Bradley Clarke game right here on the game show?
All right, let's do it.
It's time for the game of the day.
Game of the day.
Now, the game you played last time, the fast-paced race, consisted of trivia encompassing the entire history of the Amazing Race. But this game revolves around just Season 30.
All right, I think I can work with that. That's pretty simple for me.
And this game is called Face the Destinations. Face the Destinations. And here's how we play Face the Destinations, Justin. The answer to every question you'll face in this game is one of the 9 destination countries visited by the teams on the 30th season of The Amazing Race. In front of me, I have 11 numbered cards, and you'll have the chance to pick 8 of them. 9 of the cards contain a question, and all you have to do to win and gain redemption is correctly answer 5 questions. Doesn't that sound easy?
Yes, this is a lock. I already won.
Now you're probably wondering what the other 2 cards have, right?
Dun, dun, dun.
One of the cards is a yield. Remember last time we talked, Justin, I said I've always wanted the yield to return to the race. Well, I'm bringing the yield back here. On the Amazing Race, the yield means you lose time, but here on Face the Destinations, a yield means you won't get to answer a question for that turn because there is no question behind that card number. So basically, it's a wasted pick.
Okay, I get it.
And finally, one of the cards is a double question card, which means you'll have a chance to score 2 points with just 1 pick by answering 2 questions.
Ooh.
All right, those are all the rules. Justin, are you ready to play?
Let's do it.
Then let's play Face the Destinations. And because the final destination of Season 30 was San Francisco, California, today's background music will be Train's hit, Save Me San Francisco. Now, Justin, I have 2 packets of questions in front of me. Would you like to play Packet A or Packet B?
I'm always an A-team guy. Let's go Team A.
All right, Packet A it is. And before I ask you any questions, for you in the listening audience, as a reminder, I'm going to read off all 9 destinations visited by the Season 30 teams. And they are Iceland, Belgium, Morocco, France, Czech Republic, Zimbabwe, Bahrain, Thailand, and China. Those are the 9 destinations. And which number do you want to start with, Justin?
Number 2.
Number 2. And here comes your first question. This country visited by the Season 30 teams is the 6th country alphabetically.
Oh my God, alphabetically. All right, you got Belgium is B, Bahrain is B, F is France, you got Czech Republic is 4, Iceland 5, 6, H-I. Oh, Iceland. I'm going to say Iceland.
Are you locking in Iceland?
Yep.
And that is your first correct answer. It is Iceland.
Boom!
Off to a fantastic start.
That was an easy one. Thanks for starting it nice and easy.
Well, that was your choice. You picked that.
All right, let's go number 7.
Number 7. And here comes your question. For the final Season 30 challenge, the microphone symbol represented which destination?
Microphones. They sang, where did they sing? It's an African country. It was only one African country, so it was Zimbabwe, correct?
Are you asking me or should I tell you?
Oh, Zimbabwe. Lock it in.
And you are correct. It is Zimbabwe.
Thank you. There you go.
And look at this. Already you only need 3 more to win. Which number do you want next?
Number 1.
Number 1 it is, and here comes the question. Which Season 30 destination was also visited on The Amazing Race during Seasons 3, 10, and 25?
3, 10, and 25. It's either France or China. This is going to be a guess. China. Final answer.
Unfortunately, it's not China.
Ah.
but it wasn't France either. It was actually Morocco.
Oh, really? There you go.
But that's all right. You've got plenty more picks to go, Justin. So which number do you want next?
Let's go all the way to the bottom, the last one. What is it, 11?
Yep, it's number 11. And here comes the number 11 question. Which destination featured a Season 30 leg that had the teams picking up a Travelocity roaming gnome?
Ooh, the Travelocity roaming gnome was in Czech Republic. Czech Republic. Final answer.
Once again, the country of Morocco has done you no good. The answer was Morocco.
Dang it! Ah, I'm losing it here.
Well, that's all right. You still have 4 picks left, 3 more points to score, and let's see if you can find that double question card. Pick a number.
All right, let's go number 5, Diana's favorite number.
Number 5. And I'm glad number 5 is Diana's favorite number because that is the double question card. You got it.
Boom, boom. Let's get it on.
So you have the chance to earn 2 points with this pick, and getting both answers correct will put you within 1 point of the win. So here comes your first question. Which destination visited in Season 30 was also visited on The Amazing Race 3 past seasons in a row? Seasons 16, 17, and 18.
Ooh, 16, 17, and 18. I hate having to guess. Makes me seem like I don't know my stuff. Is it China? Final answer, China?
Well, you don't like to guess. But this time, Justin, it was a good guess. China is the right answer.
Woo! You had me there for a second. I was like, if I get 3 in a row, I'm going to lose my superfan status.
No, you'll never lose your superfan status. All right, here comes your second question from the double question card, and this question is in relation to the one you just answered. Of seasons 16, 17, or 18, which season did the Amazing Race teams visit Hong Kong, China, the same Chinese city visited by the Season 30 teams?
That's 17 for sure.
Yes, you are sure. It is 17.
Boom, 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 boom.
Justin, you have 4 points. You're not only 1 point away from winning this game, but you're 1 point away from gaining Game of the Day redemption right here on the game show. Which number do you want?
Number 10.
All right, number 10. For the win, here comes your question. Name one of the 2 destinations that had 2 legs take place there during Season 30.
Zimbabwe.
Lock in Zimbabwe?
Lock that in.
Well, Justin, I am pleased to say you just locked in a win. One of them is Zimbabwe. You got it.
Bam! Yeah, take that.
Do you know what the other destination is?
France.
You are correct. The teams were in France during legs 4 and 5, and they were in Zimbabwe for legs 7 and 8. Justin, you have just won Face the Destinations.
Yes, I appreciate that. I like winning. Winning feels good, even if it's just a game show on a radio. I love it.
That's what I always say, and congratulations once again, Justin, and thanks for playing Face the Destinations.
Appreciate it, brother.
Face the Destinations. Well, Justin, thank you once again for joining me right here on the game show to talk about The Amazing Race and all that Season 30 had to offer us.
I love it, and any chance I get to talk to another super fan about it is a great one. And if you guys listening want to check out my normal show, it's racersrecap.com.
That's right, and I look forward to Amazing Race Season 31 so I can watch you and Diana on the Racers Recap yet again.
Well, thank you very much. I look forward to hearing this.
All right, take care, Justin, and say hi to Diana for me.
Absolutely, Bradley. Have a good one.
All right, you as well. Bye-bye. Well, one amazing racer joining me to talk about the show's 30th season will be fantastic, but here on the game show, I like to go big, so joining me now are a couple of Amazing Race originals to give their input on the milestone race. They placed 3rd on the first ever season of the Amazing Race and 6th on Amazing Race All-Stars, and they also ran the fast-paced race on the 8th episode of the game show. Here they are once again, the always entertaining Team Guido, Joe Baldassare and Bill Bartek. Joe and Bill, welcome back to the game show.
It's great to be back.
My pleasure. I've been looking forward to talking with you two again, and I'm especially curious as to what you guys thought of Season 30 being Season 1 racers. So let's get right into it and start talking about the Amazing Race 30, shall we?
Okay.
So before we get into the specifics, I asked Justin this question as well. Where did Season 30 rank for you two? In the top tier of Amazing Race seasons, the middle tier, or the bottom tier?
Personally, I think it was one of the better seasons. Top tier, that's yet to be seen because I'm going to be optimistic saying there's going to be a lot more seasons ahead, but I think it's up there. To me, and we'll probably talk more about this, the head-to-head was hands down the best thing they've introduced in a long time. Joe?
I also think it's probably top tier. If you divide it up into tens, certainly it's in the top 10 so far.
Very interesting. Justin said he thought it was middle tier. And I tended to agree with him because one of the reasons we both scored this season in the middle had to do with this hype of season 30 being the most competitive season ever and featuring the most competitive teams ever. But we both felt that these statements were not true at all.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. But that's just a function of television. You have to bring in the ratings and do whatever it takes to get your audience pumped up about seeing something new. And the most competitive, I don't know about that. But you have to give everything a brand. And that was the brand for season 30.
I thought it was middle of the road as well. I think one of the things that really bothered me was the idea of how much clumping there was this season, and we'll get into specifics of that in a little bit. But I did like that there was some nostalgia in it, and if they would have used my sign that I held up at the starting line, it would have been a shoo-in top 10, but they didn't.
How modest of you.
I know.
Really? Surprised you didn't put it in the bottom tier then.
I thought just being at the starting line and opening it up to fans made it non-bottom-like for a season.
Yeah, I always love it where they involve fans. I think the more of that, the better, because there's thousands of super fans out there that are dying to get on the show, and if you can involve them, I think it's super.
I agree. And now I want to talk about one of the elements this season that really bothered me. Just because Amazing Race 1 and Amazing Race 30 both started in New York City doesn't mean it is the same race. And here is a prime example of that. It was so obvious this season that teams on about every leg were given airline tickets to every destination and didn't actually have to book any flights themselves.
Yeah. I think, again, they're trying to go a different direction with certain elements of the race, and they're focusing on those that they feel bring more interest to the viewing public. And from my view, I think that's an excellent thing. I'll tell you what, originally, one of the CBS people that brought the show to the network was really into that whole element of airport stress. And he really wanted to see that and sort of demanded, since CBS is a co-owner of the show. He's no longer with the network, but that was a function of CBS demanding it, and so it was put into the show.
So you didn't mind that the teams were basically given their airline tickets and were all on the same flight to every destination?
Well, I think there's an element to the suspense of that, but in today's terrorist kind of climate, I think their hand is almost forced. And I don't know what goes on behind the scenes with the countries they were going to, but I know the pages of instructions that the teams have now compared to what we had in season 1, which was virtually nothing. So it really is a function of the show that is very difficult to control. And this is probably the only way they can control it. Because I know even with our season, there were certain airlines they didn't want us to fly. It was like a handful at the most. But even back then, there were certain airlines that were kind of red flagged as a no-go.
I just miss the element of seeing the team scramble in the airport or running to make a connecting flight. That's one of my favorite moments of the race. Before any of the challenges even start, you already had suspense in terms of where is each team going to get their flights? Did you find the right flight? Was there an earlier flight to get? Mm-hmm. One of the best moments in Amazing Race history involved you in an airport in Tunisia.
And voila, ergo why they're handing airplane tickets out. Nobody's as stupid as Team Guido.
After that, you're lucky that the races are allowed to fly airplanes.
Yeah.
But, it really boils down to that. Here's another reason. It's cost for the production. If they pre-buy the tickets, it really saves a ton of money, I'm sure, because they're buying ahead of time. They're making deals with these companies, to show their logos. And who knows? I'm just guessing that that's an element. And, there's a lot behind the decision making of running a production that's probably one of the most expensive reality shows on TV. There's reasons why they've done what they've done. And like Survivor, I think they have to keep changing slightly to keep the audience at bay. You kind of almost know what's going to happen from season to season. Now, with the head-to-head as an example, that was an element that I just thought was brilliant. It really threw a wrench into the mix because the teams really didn't know when that was going to show up again. And I remember hearing from your Justin and Diana interview that, maybe announcing how many there'll be this season or something to make it more suspenseful might be interesting. But I thought that was an element that really fits true to the whole idea of Amazing Race.
Yeah, I agree. I thought that the head-to-head was a good concept. It's been used before on the Amazing Race Canada and other international versions. The one thing that I was really mad about was it being directly right next to the pit stop. I thought that was a bad decision. Some of my favorite moments in Amazing Race history are teams running to the pit stop, either trying to be first or trying to avoid elimination, and this eliminated that. They were literally walking to the pit stop.
Yeah, I'll agree. There's elements of the head-to-head that are not as suspenseful, but I just thought it showed the different teams who have different capabilities. I mean, if you have lots of strength or if you have lots of mental capability or you're good at puzzles, I think it's always important to change how the game is played. And I'll give you an example. Joe and I in season 1 didn't have a clue what to expect because, they said you could hitchhike, you could bring a tent, you could, do whatever you want, but you have to carry everything. I think that was what was so exciting for us about season 1. We had no idea what to expect. And I think teams now are so prepared. That's what's boring to me.
So what about the other new twist this season, the partner swap? What did the Guidos think of that?
I thought it was a great move. It was totally unexpected, and I was wondering how you're going to deal with an elimination at the end. I've often said that they should probably do it from the very beginning of the race, and you keep that new partner the whole time. That would be a real switch. And then anticipate when they're going to come back with their original partners, if ever. And that could be something that's going to be in the future, as they have to keep switching it up and jumbling up the show just to keep the audience and stuff. There's another twist on everything.
Right. Were you surprised that there was no Express Pass this season? Because I was.
To be honest with you, I didn't even notice it.
Really?
Because I was so excited to be watching the show start again and then live start. I didn't even remember that element. So to me, it's kind of a throwaway. Just like the time they doubled the amount. Do you remember that element? It was only one time.
Yeah, that was season 21. It was if you won the first leg and the last leg, you'd win $2 million. Brad fact.
For the first time in Amazing Race history, you have the chance to double your money. Here's how it works. If your team wins the first and the last leg of the race, you will win $2 million.
To me, the $2 million element was very random since it was only used on one season, and there wasn't really anything special it had to do to qualify for the double prize money. The Express Pass, though, is an element I've always enjoyed seeing to an extent. I liked the Express Pass when it first came out where, the winners of the first leg got it. I didn't like when they started doing double Express Pass and you have to give it over to another team. But I thought when it initially came out, I thought it was a smart use of a team being able to skip a challenge. I thought that was a pretty neat element.
Yeah.
Going back to the head-to-head challenges, back in season 1 when you two were first on the show, Phil wasn't on camera as much as he is now. And this season, Phil got some more speaking time when he basically was the play-by-play commentator for the head-to-head challenges. So did you like seeing Phil doing that?
Yes.
Yes, I did. I like to see Phil more involved rather than just standing at the roadblock and saying something and basically welcoming everybody in. So I think it was very good.
I'm hoping that's what they meant to do, was give him more of a role. And that's what the head-to-head does. And you see him more as teams are coming into a task, like a detour roadblock. He kind of comments on what they're about to do. I think that's cool. I know it's really hard for him to do that because sometimes the teams are going much faster than they predicted, like we did in season 1. It's a difficult thing for them to accomplish, but I'm glad to see they're trying it.
Right. Well, I think one of the reasons why they put in the head-to-head and the partner swap was so the producers had more control over the clumping as well, because all the teams were pretty much bunched up on every single leg, especially with the partner swap leg and the head-to-head. That really drew teams closer together.
Yeah. I really think it's a great show. Even when I was kind of getting a little bored with the format, it's still a wonderful show, hands down, with the photography and the way the show's structured. It's so interesting to watch and exciting to put yourself into those shoes of the contestants.
Right. So I have to ask you, on leg 5, the teams visited Baux-de-Provence in France, which was a location and pit stop you two visited and checked into on leg 3 of season 1. Did you like hearing Phil mention the historical significance of that location?
Yeah, Les Baux is someplace that, after having lived in France for 2 years, we never even heard of the place before. It was a very interesting place, and we love Provence, and it was cool. They should have put us in, but whatever.
I was about to say, they should have put the Guidos in.
Exactly.
Well, it was funny because Joe predicted we were third, and we actually ended up being fourth. That's why it would have been funny.
Welcome to Les Baux-de-Provence.
We're 3 on the 3.
You are team number 4.
4.
Bill reminds me of this every time. And you are team number, and I shout out 3. No, 4. Okay, fine. I guess Kevin and Drew have been here because they took the fast forward.
Right, yeah, they were the ones who did the T fast forward in Paris.
Yes, I was forgetting about them.
But no Amazing Race superfan can forget Kevin and Drew.
Oh my God, Kev! Swing, you fat bastard, swing!
Overall, this was the 30th season of The Amazing Race, very historic. Were you surprised there weren't that many nods to season 1?
I am always shocked how they don't bring past contestants into the mix more.
Kevin and Drew came back in season 8 as hot dog vendors. Remember that?
Yeah. Yep.
So let's talk about the final leg. Who were you guys rooting for to win?
I was rooting for Henry and Evan.
Interesting.
Big time rooting for them.
How about you?
And I was rooting for Christy and Jen.
I thought that IndyCar was going to win when they got to the Final Four. And then when they were eliminated after not finding the Washington Square Park arch, I was rooting for Christy and Jen to win it all.
It was tough because there were some strong teams there at the end. They were a little too nicey nice. And that kind of happened in season 1 where Joe and I were saying, we're really having a good time talking to all these people, but we shouldn't get so close and chummy because then you feel bad if you don't share information. So we were always trying to kind of alienate ourselves any way we could. And that wasn't difficult with us. But season 1.
I was about to say, because a lot of times this season, they were like, oh, yeah, let's work together. Oh, it's right up those stairs. Oh, it's right over there. Oh, you want to work together on this? I'm saying to myself, you've got to be kidding me.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
I was
insanity.
really shocked.
I could see maybe in the first couple of legs, to get yourself going and to make sure you don't get eliminated first or second.
Yeah.
But then leg 8, leg 9, oh, yeah, it's right over there. Go right up those steps. It's right down that street. You want to work together on this task. I'm saying to myself, you got to be kidding me. This is a race for $1 million, and you are wanting to work, especially nowadays when all the teams are so close together. It's not like two teams are far behind and they say, okay, maybe we can work together to boost ourselves to the top of the pack, and then we're on our own. All these teams are literally minutes behind each other.
The only logic to that would be to try to take one team that you think is really weak and that you're going to cream at the end anyway. So you're going to kind of carry them along with you for a while and then just kind of do them in the last leg or two. And in the meantime, all your hardcore competition is going to fall by the wayside, like, 5, 6, 7, 8 or whatever.
Right. I can think back to when you were purchasing all those train tickets for Nancy and Emily and
Lenny and Karen,
yeah. And then, you got all those tickets ready to go. And then when the train was there, you're just like, okay, let's go on our own and get into head of the pack.
Let them get in the wrong car.
Right.
The car that's going to split off and go someplace else.
Right. The Team Guido disappearing act.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure.
So when you saw Cody and Jessica win, was there a disappointed look on both of your faces?
There's a groan.
Yeah, I really was disappointed. To be honest, having watched Big Brother the whole season they were on, it was pretty impressive because he could not capture the essence of what he had to do to succeed in Big Brother, but she did. Jessica was so strong in that season. She kind of pulled him through, and then it was interesting. It just flip-flopped for Amazing Race.
Right. I think one of the problems I had with this season, especially with the clumping, was that it didn't really feel like a continuous race. It felt like individual legs throughout the whole season, and especially the last leg. It felt like they won $1 million because they just beat out the other teams on the final leg, not that they really won the entire race.
Well, and the way the clue read, according to things I've read online, that plane would not have flown if it were a real plane because the two wings went on opposite directions. You heard that, right?
Yes. Actually, Justin was saying about that. He said there were 2 left wings that you needed to put in.
Yeah. And so one faced forward, one faced back. Well, that plane is not ready to fly. So that was kind of a tough pill to swallow.
Henry had it right, and he didn't call the checker over fast enough, and he changed the tail again.
He didn't call the checker over at all when he had it right.
Yeah, that'll be something that I'm sure he's going to frustrate him for the rest of his life. That's worse than the $1 million bus ride almost.
Is it?
Just as frustrating.
I don't mind when competitors from other CBS reality shows come on to other shows as long as they're super fans. But if they get casted just because they're going to boost ratings or cause drama, I'm not a big fan of that. If they were true Amazing Race super fans, along with Big Brother fans, I'd be like, okay, they can be on the race. But I didn't really get the idea that they were there because they loved the Amazing Race. I felt like they were there because they just wanted to win a game because they didn't win another game.
Right.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with you. To me, they weren't a team that you really wanted to root for based on the way they were edited. So I don't know if there was anything missing, but they're not really likable. Of course, a lot of people would say the same thing about us.
Well, not me. And that's what matters.
And you never see Amazing Race contestants going over to Big Brother or Survivor. I think it's only happened once.
Yeah, the 20s, Natalie and Nadia from Amazing Race 21 and 24 went on Survivor San Juan del Sur. Brad fact.
Yeah. And one of them got eliminated early and the other one won.
First person voted out of Survivor San Juan del Sur, blood versus water. Nadia, need to bring me a torch? Nadia, the tribe has spoken. Time for the go. The winner of Survivor San Juan del Sur,
That's right.
That's the only one that I can think of where you've ever had some cross-pollination in the opposite direction.
Yeah. That is the only one. Nadia was eliminated first, and Natalie ended up winning.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why that hasn't gone the other direction. It's a mystery.
What about all the rest of us who have gone to untold number of Survivor castings and never get a call back?
Exactly. And I feel like they put them on because of the theme. You know, it was a blood versus water theme, with loved ones playing together. And they had a couple sisters who just happened to be on The Amazing Race. So let's put them on Survivor.
Yes. So let's have a senior citizen Big Brother.
Yeah, come on, Lynn Spillman. I hope you're listening.
Well, it's true because even with all the shows, Survivor, Big Brother, and Amazing Race, and Amazing Race especially, is that the cast now are so young.
Yeah.
The first few seasons, there was the typical older couple, there was the young couple, and then there was everyone in between. But now it's basically everyone either young or in between, and in between, I mean more towards the young.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree that casting is sort of like skewed towards ratings again, which, every time they've done a ratings ploy with, say, internet stars and all kinds of different seasons where they've tried to capture extra market share, I really don't think it's done it. So it seems like the formula that worked in the beginning was kind of a good one for just casting, even at the expense of not having an all-stars for a while. I think it's, important to just have everyday people.
And it also has a tendency of making the whole show much more athletic, which is not necessarily good, versus intelligent or experienced or whatever. Because I always say the most important aspect of Amazing Race is being able to make good decisions with very little input. That seems a little bit less now because there's less driving involved. Between the airline tickets handed to you and most of the time it's the Amazing Taxicab Race where you're just screaming at your taxicab driver, you don't have to be as smart or as quick-witted as you used to have to be.
I agree, and probably one of the reasons why Amazing Race doesn't feature as much team driving anymore is because Ford is not a sponsor anymore.
Yeah. Well, plus it's probably much more expensive to rent 11 cars or whatever versus just hire 11 taxicabs. And then if you get into accidents and damage on the cars, which we do, and stuff, I'm sure it can really drive the costs up.
Absolutely. And, going back to how the older seasons featured a lot of older couples, I loved watching them because to see them beat out some of these younger teams, like back on your season, Dave and Margareta, they beat out some young couples.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
Exactly.
They were very competitive, let me tell you.
They were brutal.
Nothing really got on air, but I was always telling Joe, hey, don't share anything with Margareta, bless her heart. They were very smart people, like really savvy.
There was one day in Marseille where we all were going to take this ferry boat to Tunisia, and we had already got our tickets, and we were just kind of walking around. They were kind of lost, and we showed them where to go. And then when it comes time to get on the boat, they squeezed in ahead of us.
Some of the older couples throughout the race have been some of my favorites. Like if you remember back in season 9, Fran and Barry.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They came in 5th. They beat out many younger teams, and even Terry and Ian.
Yeah, Terry and Ian. Oh, my gosh, very competitive.
Yes.
They came in second by 2 minutes on season 3, and then they didn't do as well in All-Stars, but still they beat out John, Vito, and Jill. They beat out Kevin and Drew. They even beat out Rob and Amber.
And we just barely beat them to the mat.
In Zanzibar.
Right.
Yeah, that was a real close one.
So all I'm saying is that they should incorporate what the foundation of the race was back in season 1 into the race now.
Well, I think there's less relationship and more gameplay is kind of what it's evolved into, at least with this season. You don't see the relationship in so much depth as you used to. I think it really is more runway model types and very athletic people. And, that's fine, but I don't think it's a real cross-section of people that are watching the show. The viewers want to kind of see themselves and who's on the screen.
I agree. And before we get to the game, the last thing I want to say is now on The Amazing Race, all the teams have hashtags underneath their names when their names come out on the screen, and they're labeled team names like Team Extreme, Team Chomp, Team Big Brother. This is all for social media purposes, for connecting. But you guys, you had the first ever team name, Team Guido. You didn't need no Twitter.
We created that whole idea.
That's right.
Team uniforms, everything, because when we went to our first photography session back in New York, the other teams looked at us, and go ahead, I'll let you tell the story, Joe, because it's you.
So you set me up. So we were on the set of CBS This Morning, where they have the plexiglass and they have all the titles of what the magazine articles that they're going to talk about that Sunday morning. And we're up there for a photo shoot, and this is probably the first time we were all really together, and Bill and I wore our Team Guido shirts. And Pat and Brenda turn around and look at us, and they ask us, well, if they're Team Guido, who are we? And I just kind of looked at it and said, well, you're nothing. You're going to get eliminated fast. We were not friends after that. But, we weren't friends with anybody, so what difference did it make?
Well, you were kind of telling the truth because they were the third team eliminated.
Yes, and they're still insisting that they went to the correct Foucault's pendulum, not the replica.
The cat wasn't there.
No, sorry.
And it's actually funny because Pat and Brenda got eliminated at Le Baux-de-Provence, which was featured on season 30. Brad fact.
That's right, yes.
A tie in there. So no one appreciates that you guys created the team whatever. But I will, on the game show right here, say that for all of you amazing racers who now race or have been racing with a hashtag team whatever, the Guidos are the cause of that.
That's right. It's all for the dog.
That's right. That's right. I got to make sure that the originals get their credit.
Yes.
Well, the dog is the reason why it became Team Guido, too, because he was in our interview tape.
And also your intro, when you first came off the bus.
Oh, that's right.
Yes. Yeah. He needed us to go on a long vacation so he can get away from us for a while.
Did you leave him some wine while you left?
Of course.
Actually, quite a few cases.
Well, Joe and Bill, I love games. I know you love games. And once again, it's time for Team Guido to play an amazing race game here on the game show. Are you ready to seek game redemption?
Oh, boy.
God, I'm afraid.
Well, it's time for the game of the day.
Game of the day.
And this is a brand new game, so it's not the fast-paced race.
Oh God, good. Maybe we have a fighting chance, Bill.
And this one is all about the countries visited on The Amazing Race Season 30, all right? So this is all about Season 30.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Joe and Bill, you're about to face the destinations. Face the destinations.
Cool.
Okay.
So the same rules apply for you guys as they did Justin, although you're going to be working together as a team while Justin had to play the game solo. There are 11 numbered cards, you get 8 picks, and you need 5 points to win the game. Of course, be careful of the yield, and there's that double question card out there as well. So you ready to play?
Go ahead.
Then let's play Face the Destinations. Now, Justin played Face the Destinations as well, and he was able to redeem himself right here on the game show. He won.
Oh, cool.
Great.
And here's the reasoning behind why Justin was on the first half of this episode and why you guys are on the second half. The green team, when they were on the game show the first time, placed better while playing the fast-paced race than the Guidos. So because of that win, Justin earned the advantage of playing Face the Destinations first, which means he had the option of choosing between 2 packets of questions to play for his game. He ended up choosing Packet A, so for Face the Destinations, Joe and Bill, you'll be playing Packet B, thanks to Justin.
Okay.
But just because you're playing Packet B and Justin played Packet A, the same 9 destinations apply. And once again, for the listeners and for your memory boost, here are the 9 destinations visited by the teams on Amazing Race Season 30. So they are Iceland, Belgium, Morocco, France, Czech Republic, Zimbabwe, Bahrain, Thailand, and China.
Okay.
Okie doke.
All right. Here we go. 1 through 11 are the card numbers. Which one do you want to start with?
8.
Number 8. Here comes the first question. Spell the leg 3 destination.
Leg 3. Morocco, Morocco.
You think there's 2 C's there? Morocco.
Joe.
I don't think there's 2 C's. I think there's just 1 C.
I'm going to say there's 2. Morocco. So let's go with 2. Final answer.
Ooh,
Okay.
You're going to go with 2 C's.
Don't do that to us. Was Joe right?
Well, if you would have went with Joe, you would have been wrong. It is 2 C's. You got it.
Oh, it is. All right. Wowie, wow.
I was always better with spelling than Joe.
Sure looks funny when you write it.
Morocco, Morocco. That was the leg 3 destination. Off to a fantastic start. You have 1 point on your way to 5. Which card do you want next?
Bill.
Joe, go ahead. You picked a good one, so go ahead, pick it again. I'll let you pick.
Okay, well, let's do 7.
Number 7. Here comes your question. Which destination's national bird is the crane? A, Bahrain, B, Thailand, or C, China? Which destination's national bird is the crane? A, Bahrain, B, Thailand, or C, China?
I think it's China, isn't it, Joe? Because it doesn't sound like Bahrain is a desert.
No. I think on the back of a Thai Airways, there's a crane on the tail, so say Thailand.
Oh, okay.
It's not Bahrain because Bahrain's the place with the falcons.
Hey, that makes a lot of sense then if you've seen
But
this.
China and Thailand, I think it's Thailand.
You to go with Thailand?
Yeah.
It's actually China, C.
Oh, I was right!
Why does anybody ever listen to me?
The national bird of Thailand is the Siamese fireback. Brad fact.
There you go. It's not.
Oh, and I knew that too.
You did?
That's a joke.
So you have 1 right. You still have 6 picks to go. Which number next?
Bill.
1.
Number 1. Here comes your question. Name one of the 2 destinations that featured a leg with a speed bump during Season 30.
Remember, one of them was
okay,
at the end with Henry.
Leg 3, Morocco. I know there was one later. Henry had it, but I forget. Yeah, I'm going to go with Morocco. I can't think of where that one was.
The one was the Chinese lanterns with Henry and Jen. Wasn't that a speed bump?
So where was that?
Oh, no, that was a U-turn, wasn't it?
I don't know. I know it was Henry and Evan, but I don't know where. But I know the other one was Morocco.
Okay, well then go ahead. Morocco.
You're going to go with Morocco?
Yes, Morocco. Final answer.
Well, this time, Morocco did not pay off. Morocco is not one of the 2.
Oh, God.
Joe, you were on the right track. China was one of them. It was with the lanterns.
Oh, China.
The other one was in
Okay,
France.
now we both have one wrong, Joe.
Great.
The speed bump in France featured the basketball players, Cedric and Sean.
Oh, I don't even remember that. Oh, yeah. No, I do remember that now.
But that's okay. You still have 5 more picks, and if you can get that double question, you can score twice with that. Which number next?
Bill, I've already chosen 2, so you...
number 2.
Number 2. Uh-oh, that's the yield.
Oh, shoot.
Which means you wasted a pick on that one.
So now we can't win.
Actually, a win is still possible. You just have to get every single question correct from now on. Unless you get the double, which means you'll have 2 chances to score. So at least the yield is out of the way. So you know there's no yield left.
Okay.
What number next?
3.
Number 3. Here comes your question. A Season 30 leg featured no detour and no roadblock. This all-route info leg took place in what destination?
Was it in the very beginning of the show? Would have been Iceland?
That would make sense, but I don't... So the whole episode, there was nothing?
There was not one detour and not one roadblock on the entire leg. It was all route info challenges.
Well, if you think it's the first leg, then...
I'm just taking a wild guess. So you can take your own wild guess. Since neither one of us know.
Yeah.
It will be wild.
Pretty clear, right? What did they do in France? When they went to Les Baux, was there... I can't remember what they did in France. Do you, Joe? Because wasn't that...
No.
I'm thinking maybe it was Les Baux. Yeah, I'm going to go with Les Baux.
You gonna say
The
France?
So
France.
Yeah.
You locking in France?
Yeah.
Well, it couldn't have been France because in Le Beau, remember the catapult-making roadblock where one team member had to stay with their neck and hands locked up until their partner finished the task?
Oh, God, yes.
The answer was Bahrain.
Oh.
Ooh. Well, it wasn't Iceland.
Okay, there goes our perfect score.
Well, now, here's the thing. You can technically still win because if you can get the double question correct and get both of those questions right, because you have 3 picks left. So you technically can still win. You just need to get every question right and pick the double question. No pressure.
Yeah. Okay.
No pressure at all.
We still have 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, and 11.
6.
Fine.
Number 6. All right, it's not the double question, but you need to get this right. Which season 30 destination was first visited on The Amazing Race during season 19?
Yikes.
Well, think about what destinations you've seen definitely before.
Yeah. I don't remember Czech Republic before.
Actually, that was a telephone one twice. Was that season 19?
That's what I'm thinking. Zimbabwe was that
Zimbabwe was us.
Oh,
Or
that's
not.
right. Yeah.
No, I'm thinking Zanzibar.
I'm thinking maybe that's what it is, though, Joe. The Czech Republic, because they went to
Let's go for that. Czech.
You lucky in Czech Republic?
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, it was Belgium.
Oh!
Oh, and I was going to say that, too.
We're terrible at this game. That's why we need you to run the race.
You need to ask us questions only about Amazing Race 1.
I think he was being very generous, only having 5 questions and 8 picks. So.
All right, here's what I'll do. I'm planning for my 25th episode of the game show to do a game redemption episode.
And it's all about Team Guido.
No, I'm going to invite back a few of my guests that have not won their games and have them try to redeem themselves. It's going to be an all-game episode. So if you would like to come back for the game redemption episode, I'll do this game, but with Amazing Race 1 locations.
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
So when you come back on the game redemption episode, it'll be all Season 1 destinations.
Oh, boy.
So unlike Justin, who won his playing of Face the Destinations, unfortunately, Joe and Bill, you were not able to gain redemption today. Aww. However, you still have 2 more picks left, so pick a number and let's play out the rest of the game.
5.
Number 5. Well, that's the double question, so you got that.
I knew it.
See, there you go.
And here comes the first of 2 questions. Which destination featured a leg with an Amazing Race switchback challenge?
I don't know what that means, Amazing Race Switchback Challenge.
A switchback is when a challenge used on a previous season of The Amazing Race is brought back. Brad fact.
Oh, that was Czech. The telephones.
Oh, yeah.
Czech Republic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just mentioned it before. You got it. It's Czech Republic.
There you go.
So we get 2 points for that?
So you get 1 point.
No,
but
you got to answer
Oh,
one.
you got another
one
question
point.
here.
Yeah, you get a follow-up
He's
question.
not giving. It's not going to be that.
And the answer to the follow-up question is also the Czech Republic?
No.
Okay.
Here comes
We can eliminate that, Bill.
I know.
Here comes your follow-up question. Season 13, Season 14, or Season 15? Which Amazing Race season originally featured Season 30's Czech Republic Switchback Challenge?
I can visualize the people doing this thinking what a cool roadblock this was. I'm glad I didn't have to do it because I can't hear.
Switchback. Oh.
Was this the one with the Cowboys on it?
What's
Or you know who it was? It was Flight Time. Flight Time and Big Easy were on it. They did this because they couldn't do it well. Yeah, so you remember which one Flight Time was on?
Season 15.
Try 15.
Well, you worked it out. It is Season 15.
Oh, wow, we got 3 points.
Yay!
Was Flight Time and Big Easy on that one?
Yes, that was the challenge on Leg 11 that they took the penalty on. Brad fact.
Ah,
Cool.
yeah.
And that resulted in them being eliminated. You have 3
Okay.
points. You have 1 more pick. You can get a 4th point. Which number do you want?
Do 11.
Alrighty. Here comes your question. This country visited by the teams is the 7th destination alphabetically.
Do you have those written down? I heard you writing.
Yeah.
Joe.
It's going to be
It's not
Morocco.
Zimbabwe.
Our old friend Morocco.
You go with Morocco?
Yeah.
Well, one time Morocco worked for you. The second time Morocco didn't work for you. And this third time, Morocco did work for you. It is Morocco.
Yeah, see, we got 4.
You got 4 points, which is 1 point away from a win, but you did come very close.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
feel better about this time than last time. Thank you for weighting the averages. My college professor.
And Bill, thank you for giving me a pen and a piece of paper before we called.
You got to be prepared in the race.
That's right, that's right. Well, I hope you had fun playing the game.
We did.
Oh, it was good.
Thanks for playing Face the Destinations. Face the Destinations. Well, Joe and Bill, having you on the game show once was a thrill, but to have you on again to talk about the show we three know and love is just beyond fantastic. So thank you, Team Guido, for joining me again as my guests.
It was fun.
It was our
hope
pleasure.
is that you get on the show.
That's
Yes.
my hope as well.
For sure.
And I look forward to having you on the Game Redemption episode of the game show.
Sounds perfect.
We'll be good comic relief anyway.
No, you're going to do it third time's a charm.
Always,
Yes, it's the
really.
third time.
And all the questions will be based on Season 1 destinations, so rewatch yourselves and get the memory going so there's no chance of losing. I'm telling you, I want to get Team Guido a Game of the Day win, and I think this is going to be it.
That sounds great.
Well, thank you again, Joe and Bill, and enjoy the rest of the day skiing.
Very
We
good.
are. We're
Okay,
headed out
thank
the door
you.
Right now.
Alrighty.
We'll see you.
Take
Okay,
care.
Thanks.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
bye-bye.
Bye. And that's going to do it for this jam-packed episode of the game show. My thanks once again to one half of the green team, Justin Scheman, and Team Guido, Joe Baldassare and Bill Bartek, for giving your amazing race insights. And if you want to listen to this episode again, listen to both the green team and Team Guido's first appearances on the game show, or just listen to any episode of the game show, log on to www.soundcloud.com/Bradley_Clarke. That's BRADLEY_CLARKE/sets/the game show. That's www.soundcloud.com/Bradley_Clarke. That's BRADLEY_CLARKE/sets/the game show. Plus, make sure to like The Game Show starring Bradley Clarke on Facebook and follow The Game Show starring Bradley Clarke on Twitter using the handle @TheGameShowBC and #TheGameShow. But of course, be sure to tune in next time for another episode of the talk show about the world of television game and competition shows, The Game Show. I'm Bradley Clarke, and I'm going to make sure no one is stealing my cab. Bye for now. All of the Amazing Race clips and sounds used during this episode of The Game Show are courtesy of the CBS Television Network.
This edition of The Game Show was created and produced by Bradley Clarke and was recorded at the WRHU studios. This is Austin Angelo speaking.
The Game Show is a Bradley Clarke production. Get your game on.